Well, hey everybody. This video is going to start a pretty special project for me, and let's get right into it. So what we're looking at is the manual for the Master Grade Gundam EZ8. And this was a kit that, or a mobile suit you would have seen in the 08th MS team. And I've already got the kit assembled, and I've got, most of the little accessories almost finished. I've been working on trying to clear up some of the seam lines, like on these little ammo packs, and then the seam lines on the rest of the weapons. So getting pretty good on some of them, and then I still have a little bit left to go. But this kit is representing something very special to me. It's a project idea I've had in mind for a few years now. Now it's 2017, and I want to say I built my first Master Grade probably about 15 years ago. And then out of those, that first year or so, I ended up building 5 Master Grade kits. Now one of them was the EZ8 you're looking at right here. And then I had also built the Master Grade Gun Cannon, the Master Grade GP01FB, Master Grade Camphor, and Master Grade Goof Custom. And when I built those kits, I didn't paint them. I would apply the stickers, and I actually went so far as to buy a little micron pen, and which is like just a real fine tip marker, and added in all the panel lining with them. Now that was, like I say, 14-15 years ago. I don't actually own those kits anymore, but I always thought how nice it would be to kind of go back, revisit them, and actually do a good job of painting them, and just kind of giving it what I can do today. So I decided to start this project with this kit. I'm probably not going to do these one in a row. In fact, this may take several months to complete them all, just because I have that I'm going to finish, and then I also got this guy here in the mail, and I've already actually snapped a few little things together, like here's one of his little core fighters, but I think that's going to be the next kit I work on. But I want to finish this one first, and so the idea for the kit is basically just going to be a paint job that looks very similar to what you see right here. I've got some ideas for the white I want to do. And a lot of pictures you see this white armor is actually like a brownish white. So I think I want to go in with a very light coat of brown and then do all my white highlighting. And then I picked up a few brown washes I'm going to try for it. And then just kind of go and do everything else the way I have. I also have some weathering pigments I think I'm going to try, and that's, I think, pretty much it. Fortunately, most of this kit doesn't actually have a lot of seam lines. It has some like here on this guy, but to me those just kind of look like panel lines, so I'm not going to worry about those. I've taken care of a lot of the seam lines already on this guy, the little bazooka here. And then what I think I'm going to do is, once I get it painted and assembled, I'm probably not going to disassemble this, and I'm probably not going to store it in here, because the way this attaches in here, I think it's going to scratch all the paint off, so I just don't see the point in that. The shield is, like I say, there's a little, I guess, seam here and here, which that might just be easier to put some putty in, I think. But overall, it's a decent looking shield. We've also got the machine gun here. It's just got a few moving parts, and then you can swap these little ammo packs off. There's one that goes in here, and then there's 2 that go in the side skirts, and then he has his beam rifle. And the beam rifle actually is missing some color. A lot of this should be white, so that'll look a lot nicer painted. And then he has a couple beam sabers, and the beam saber handles I think are stored in a pretty cool place down here in the calves. And it's just a little panel here that opens up, and then he's got a little beam saber in there, so always a fan of that. The backpack has a little gimmick, so you can attach this container to it if you want to. which I probably won't be doing. But other than that, I also picked up some aftermarket decals, and I'll be applying those. So I think I'm gonna maybe stop right here, and then let's take a look at part of what this kit's gonna look like while it's getting painted. Alright, well, I've got the kit painted and kind of spread out here. I've been doing a few different things to it. I've got all the decals applied to the kit, so just, you know, like some there on the leg. Let's see, like little 08 the Mess team here, little 881, or is that 8 dash? I'm not exactly sure right there. And then I found a few little decals like this EZ8 that I put on his skirt armor, and so on, just right there. Now, one thing I did is this kit does come with stickers. Where are they at? They're right here. It does come with some stickers and some dry transfers. I've never been a big fan of dry transfers, but these stickers I know are just like flat out terrible. They're so thick. I remember the first time I built this kit, they're just so thick that, you know, I don't think you could put enough top coat on there to hide it. So I didn't want to use those, so I went on eBay and just picked up some water slide decals here, and there's, you know, plenty for the kit and plenty left over for some other projects down the road. So I painted the kit. Like I said, I went with basically a very light coat. I guess it was white mostly with a few drops of brown in it. And then once that dried, I put on basically just straight white. I guess it was kind of a creamy white color. And once that was done, I started work after the decals on applying this Mr. Weathering color. And then you kind of see some of the effects that that gives. And I think it looks really nice. I did the head completely because I'm not going to be painting it at all. So get it right there. Excuse me, I'm not going to be applying any decals to it. So the wash really just kind of, you know, brings out everything, and I think makes it look super nice. So really happy with that. I did it to the shield, and it just kind of gives it a, you know, a dirtier, like I say, a dirtier, grittier look. Did this piece too, and just kind of adds a little, you know, a little texture to the model, just a little something subtle and different that makes it look a little more real. And it's super easy to put on. I can show you guys that real quick. I'll do this piece right here. If there is it's really, really, really easy to do this. If there was a secret, I would say it's just making sure that you've got the bottle mixed up properly. I've noticed that it kind of, after you sit it for a while, the pigments all float down to the bottom, and after a while it's just not getting the same amount of color on a part. But basically you just get a little paintbrush and just cover the part. And it's nice, you don't have to be super picky or, you know, anything like that. You don't have to, you know, worry about being too careful or anything like that. And just, you want to get it on there is all really. And it's made by Mr. Color, but I mean, they make so many different kinds of these. I think the one I'm using is number 7, and it looks like I have another one here it's a different shade of brown. It's this guy here, and I think that looks like it's probably the 4th one in the series. So it's you know, I don't know exactly how many they have, but they have a lot of different colors, so you can achieve a lot of different results. In my case, I'm, you know, looking for a dirty, kind of grungy looking look to do for the, you know, this ground suit. So anyways, it's set on here just for, you know, about a minute or so that I've been talking, and then you just take a paper towel or a Q-tip, whatever you want, and you just start wiping it off. If you want to kind of add a sense of realism. Something important to think about is how you wipe this. So if this is supposed to be simulating, dirt and grime and grunge and things like that, it's probably going to be moving down, in a vertical kind of down look, because if it's hanging on the kit like this, dirt's not going to be moving this way. It's going to be moving straight up and down. So just something to think about. But once I have that done, I just kind of wiped off the majority of it. I kind of come back in here with just an old Q-tip and kind of hit it a little bit more, because I want, I still want like the paint to come through, but I want you to see that there's a buildup of dirt too. So I kind of just try to not let it be in any one big glob or something like that. Just enough, and then you kind of leave little subtle parts of it, and it looks like little bits of dirt have been streaking and falling down. So that to me looks pretty good. And basically I just have to go over the entire kit with that. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do next is show you this shipping fluid. So I've kind of got my hands real full, but this is a product by Ammo. This is the scratching effect. You can think of this kind of like hairspray. And then this is what's going to go over it. And this is what's going to create the grime effect. And this is what's going to help us to achieve the effect. So this is for the look, and this is kind of how you actually make it happen. But you start out by spraying a coat of this on. You let it dry, and then you apply a second coat. I kind of cheat and I use my airbrush just to help it dry in between coats. Anyways, once that is on there, you just apply a coat of this grime effect. And I had the part upside down, but in my mind, if you're thinking about it, in my mind it would be a little dirtier up here and it would be a little lighter down here. Because if this is kind of up by the waist section, you'd get a lot of that movement, a lot of grinding, and dirt and gunk would be kind of coming out here and then moving down. So I'm painting it upside down, but I'm gonna spray a little bit here, and I want it to be a little thicker here, and then a little lighter here. Okay. One thing I would suggest with this, and the little experience I've had with it, is to not go too crazy with it. I mean, you can lay it on really, really thick, and I think that should be plenty. You can lay it on, super thick, and it'll, in the end, it's like you're wiping a lot of it off anyways, so you're kind of wasting it that way. Just making sure you get enough on there that you need to achieve the result. Obviously, if you apply more, you're kind of going for an even dirtier, grittier look than if you apply just a little bit. I'm going for, like I said, just a weathered kind of dirty look. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just something to try to achieve that effect. Now, I'm just going to cut here for a second, and I'm going to wait about a minute or so just to kind of let this set up. Alrighty, I think that's pretty well set up. So I'm just going to get my brush wet and just kind of wipe off the excess. And then, as strange as it may sound, it works best if you start at the bottom of the part and then work your way up. And what that'll do, I can see this here, sorry. What that'll do is it'll take away more of the grime at the bottom, and then just by kind of controlling your strokes, you can leave more at the top. And then you pretty much just keep working it until you find you are where you want to be. You can, just depending on what brush you're using. With this one, The bristles get a little stiffer if I move it this way. And that I like because it helps me remove a little bit more of the material in some spots. And I can just kind of blend it like that. Okay. And there you have it. You've got kind of a grimy layer added on to the already grimy layers that we have. So it's just one extra way to add a little bit of detail to your kit. Okay everyone, it's been about 6 weeks of working off and on, but I finally got this kit wrapped up, and I am really happy with how this thing turned out. Just going through the steps again, I did a base coat on each part, and then just did a little highlighting with the airbrush. Once that was done, I did a brown wash over everything, and then I wrapped it up with using the streaking effects by Ammo and the little grime effect. I guess it's not a grime effect, I guess it was the streaking effect. And then finished it up with just a flat coat. And I am so happy with how this thing turned out. I had an idea in my head as far as what I wanted the kit to look like, and I think it looks almost exactly the way I wanted it to, which is just kind of an old dirty EZ8, but not, nothing, too gross or too grungy, but just the right amount of, wear and tear on it. And man, I think it came out so good, like so good. So I'm really happy with it. It took I guess a little longer than I was planning, but when you're a husband and a father, that's just the way life goes, I guess. But there were a few things on this kit that I kind of decided to scrap halfway through. You'll notice that the container for the backpack isn't here. And for me, at least, the whole idea of the container is to store the bazooka. But the bazooka would get scratched up, and I didn't really want that to happen. But then thinking more and more about it, this was really the only weapon that you ever actually saw him use, and I just kind of wanted to stick to that. So the other weapons in the kit are kind of leftovers from the other models that this is based off of. So I put one beam saber in the leg, and then I just left the other one out here because, again, as soon as I put that one down in the leg, I could see it scratching, so I wasn't going to scratch them both up. But other than that, like I said, I think it came out really nice. I'm really digging these decals I got. They're just aftermarket decals I picked up on eBay. There's a company, I forget exactly what they're called, but it's like DL something, I think. But if you look on eBay and you see the shipping address, I know they're based out of New York. And they're really good. Just make sure you use a decal setting solution with them, and you shouldn't have any problems. I'm trying to think if there was anything else here I did. I think that's pretty much it. So again, the streaking effect I think came out really well. It came out a lot better on this one than it did on my Barbatos, and I think that's just because when you do something, over repetition, you get a little better and better at it. So I think I improved on that a little bit. And I think overall it's going to look really nice in my display cabinet here for only a couple hours, I think, before I go hand it off to its new owner. So I think that'll do it for this project. I sure appreciate you guys watching this video. It ended up being a little longer, I think, than I wanted it to be, but I think the end result was well worth the time, at least for me. So I hope it was for you too. Again, I certainly appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you at the next project.